Am I the a-hole for planning on ending our relationship today because he acts like his daughter is heiress to my things? My boyfriend Ben, 42 male, has been asking weird questions and expecting me, 37 female, to do things that would go against my plans for my own family. Things have been working out for me in the past few years, but this year has been amazing. I decided to cut down on my daily workload a bit after I got 3 accounts that are helping me reach some financial goals. I'm planning on buying a house for my family. I downsized my current living situation, renting, after my kids went to live temporarily with my parents for this semester while I completed my certified training and graduated from my current program in uni. My new place isn't as nice looking as other places, but the price was a good cut from living expenses for me. I can walk to both the office and uni, and I hardly have to move my car for anything. I'm saving money that I'm putting in an account for my kids. Ben absolutely hates my place. It's clean and in a relatively safe area. It's just that it's a mix of student housing and old families, and traffic can get messy from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Some houses are simple and elegant, and some look like tacky add-ons. I don't care if my place doesn't look nice on the outside. It's not like it's an eyesore, and it's up to me to make it livable on the inside. I had 2 other choices. Choice A cost $200 less than my previous place, with access to a community pool and 2 bedrooms. I don't need more than 1 bedroom at the moment, and I don't really have time to enjoy the pool. Choice B was a bit cheaper, but about 45 minutes away. It was beautiful and close to the school where Ben's kid goes. He did hint at it, but he would have needed to get on the lease and come up with the difference between that place and the studio apartment I chose. Also, living together is a major decision, and right now I really need to focus on my career and education. He said he understood, but he didn't take it well. He told me his daughter was disappointed because she would have liked a nice place to hang out. Ben lives in an apartment. It's an average place with no problems or issues. So what he said came across as a weird remark. Fast forward, and he started asking questions. First, he asked if I would be interested in partnering with him on a business idea. I said no because I already made a commitment to self-fund my own venture. Second, I'm not familiar with the industry he wanted to break into. Then he began noticing things I owned. I'm not hiding that I'm financially stable, but I don't spend a lot. He noticed that I've bought a few nice items and started telling jokes that felt harmless. Then he said that I was loaded and that his daughter would be an awesome protege. I stayed quiet to be honest, because I think he might have been offended. But there's no way in hell that I would allow access to what I've built to anyone other than my kids. Also, he said I should treat his daughter as very special, because I only have boys and she's my chance to have a girl in the family, his words. Don't get me wrong, she's a good kid. I have never missed out on gifting her nice and thoughtful presents on her birthdays and the holidays. But his words created a sense of discomfort and disgust in me. It felt like reversed sexism, and I told him, she and I have a decent relationship, but there's no way I will give her access to my money if that means treating her as my own. I know this sounds very wrong, but it's how I feel. She's not the kind of kid who's a bully or nasty or anything, but she's not my child, and every time he asks for things, I feel like he's trying to get me to take from my kids to give to her. It happened again when I gave her a short-term weekend job. The office cleaning lady wasn't available, so I hired his daughter for a Saturday cleaning. She did a good job. I paid her and took her to the mall to get her some makeup that she wanted. She came back the next weekend. When he picked her up, he started joking that she would start from the bottom and rise to be a top executive like any other kid in the family business. I didn't say anything because she was there, but I did approach him later and mentioned it to him. I tried to be gentle, but it was important for us to at least discuss expectations. His initial reaction wasn't what I expected. To be fair, I think he got nervous or embarrassed, but I didn't like his reaction. He said something about me potentially putting her in my will. I'd like to clarify that he laughed, so I think it was a joke, but I also think he wouldn't have clarified if I had gone along with it. I simply stayed quiet and told him that I cared about his daughter, but it isn't fair to create any expectations. I've worked so hard to give my kids a better future, and it's taken me over 10 years. The fact that he only sees the results without taking my past and struggles into consideration feels disrespectful. I also mentioned how he wanted me to change my budget and plans for a different property, even though he knew that moving in together wasn't an option, and that he stayed silent when I said he would have needed to pay the difference on the lease. I also mentioned that I would not make unnecessary sacrifices. Nothing else was said. He stormed out of my car and, this is why I feel like the a-hole here, started walking with his hands in his pockets and a weak smirk. I had to drive slowly next to him to convince him to get back inside the car because I hate Dr. David Banner scenes. He looked like a kicked puppy. After I dropped him off, he has been sending me texts about me being disconnected from what a blended family actually is, saying that I think his daughter is inferior, that I'm a hypocrite, and that I'm bullying him. This has disturbed my inner peace because I'm just defending the legacy I've built, and having to do it against my partner just doesn't feel right. We talked about it, and he apologized, and I did the same in case I was too harsh. He said we could find some middle ground, and I was open to it. But when he talked about helping him create a business for his daughter, I began to get angry, because again, it would be sweat equity for me. I declined, because I've done all the sweating I had to, but it was for me, and what he's asking just isn't fair. It's a responsibility, and I truly like to do things appropriately. I don't want to say yes and then do it half-assed, and I don't want to work for free. I also don't want to mix business and pleasure, because it's my network and my contacts. And again, it could go very well, or it could be a crap show, and I don't want that. I'm also concerned that he will ramp up and keep asking and asking for things. He said that if I don't help, he will feel like we will never build anything together. I said he needed to hire a consultant, but he stayed quiet. So I told him that he shouldn't place the responsibility for his present situation on me. He said that I'm probably blinded by my success, but that one day I'll wake up single and lonely. I asked if he was threatening to leave me, and he said I'm not acting like a helpful partner. I asked for a break, and he freaked out. I'm just trying to keep my mental health in check because his constant asking and jokes have made me anxious. Also, I'm very angry and thinking that he just wants a handout. I texted him this morning asking to talk. I want to break up. He said he hopes I'm not planning on dumping him because it would mean that I just tricked him into a break. He posted something about his own mental health today. Am I the a-hole for deciding to end things? We haven't talked yet, but that's my intention. I don't see his kid as inferior at all. I just want to keep my money out of it. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'm not saying he's a gold digger, but if the shoe fits, I'll say it. Dude is a gold digger. And OP should dip out now. For real, he isn't just a little bit. He's a lot. OP, this guy thinks highly of you, but he wants you to take care of him and his daughter without contributing himself. I commend you for figuring things out and sticking to your guns. I don't think he's right for you. Level up. I feel like he's trying to get me to take from my kids to give to her. Not the a-hole. It's not a feeling. It's a fact. What did he plan to give to your children? Nothing. Oh, how surprising. This man has nothing and does not want to work. He wants to take what you've built because it's easier and less effort for him. Maybe there's context that hasn't been included, but I don't see what he's willing to put into his daughter's future. He's upset when a reasonable suggestion of him hiring a consultant gets suggested. It really gives me the ick. It's very easy to sit on the sidelines, like me, and have someone else make all the effort. I hope OP gives a long, hard think about this guy. He's tried to play on a fear most people have of being alone forever to get what he wants. There are many less slimy fish in the sea. Edit. To the judgmental people calling me names for letting my kids live with my parents for this semester only, please enlighten me. Would it be a great option to reject a good opportunity and finish my education to gain your approval? Right, because not doing my best to give them a good financial start in life is a better option. Also, where did you get that I'm an absent mother? Did I say that I don't see them or spend time with them? To those who offer advice, thank you. To those who disagree but definitely jump to, mothers should not do what they can to secure their kids' financial future and stay poor but at home? Thanks. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my date alone and drunk in a bar? I, 25 male, matched with a woman, 25 female, and we made plans to meet for food and drinks. We agreed to Uber to the restaurant around 6:30. When I arrived, she was already at the bar drinking. We then got a table. About an hour in, she seemed a little drunk, but I didn't mind. We were having fun. However, she didn't seem interested in eating. Finally, I just ordered a few appetizers because I was starving. When the food came, she ate about 3 bites. I suggested she order something else, but she told me she doesn't get hungry when she's drinking. She was drinking quite a lot, and eventually, I noticed a slight slur in her speech, so I decided it was time to call it a night. I paid the check and offered to share an Uber with her and drop her off on the way. She asked me if we could go across the street to another bar for one more drink. I agreed because I did feel a connection with her, but I made it clear that I really had to go home soon because I have work early in the morning. She agreed that we would go home after one more. We got to the bar, and she ordered a double Jack and Coke, as well as a shot for each of us. After we took the shot and finished one drink each, I told her I was calling the Uber and once again offered her a ride. She tried to get me to stay for another, but I politely declined and told her I'd like to see her again another time. I meant it. This is when things went bad. I guess that last drink and shot really did her in because she was starting to get loud and obnoxious. I tried multiple times to nicely tell her we should leave, but she kept flirtatiously saying things like, "Are you trying to take advantage of me? I'm not that kind of girl." I even offered to order her own Uber home, separate from mine, but she told me she wasn't ready to go home yet. She then told me that if I stayed for one more, she'd come back to my place with me. I said no, thank you. I asked if there was anyone I could call to pick her up, but she said no. When my Uber arrived, I offered one more time to take her home, and she still refused. But this time she seemed angry and told me to stop telling her what to do. She also called me a pussy. People were starting to stare. The last thing I wanted was to make a scene. Finally, I just walked out and left her there. By this time, it was 11 p.m., which is a little late for me because I wake up at 5 for work. She was blowing up my phone for over an hour and cursing me out for leaving. I ended up blocking her and going to sleep. The next day, I woke up to 9 messages from her on Facebook Messenger. She had found my profile and called me every name in the book because I abandoned her at a bar. I ignored the name calling and asked if she got home okay. She hasn't responded. I'm struggling a little because normally, I'd never do this to a woman. I have 2 sisters, and I'd hate for a guy to just leave them alone if they were that drunk. But at the same time, I don't think it's my responsibility to force her to leave. I tried multiple times, and she refused. Am I the a-hole? If this ever happens again, be sure you notify the bartender or bouncer so they can make sure some a-hole doesn't steer her out while she is drunk. They can intervene to make sure she leaves on her own. It's also in your best interest to tell the bar staff that you do not know her and you two just met. It's sad that you have to take these precautions, but it can be a great defense, especially if she's coherent enough to do a social media check, track you down, and harass you. Not the a-hole. She is an adult and you tried multiple times to end the date and send her on her way safely. You are not responsible for her issues. To add, agree with other commenters that involving staff here would have been a good idea for her own safety. Also, dodged a bullet. Not the a-hole. She has issues she needs to take care of before starting dating. Not the a-hole. Block her on everything. She has no off switch. A couple drinks turns into many until she is plastered. You are a gentleman. You try to offer her ways home. She is a big girl. Her problem. Her loss too. Too bad she missed out on you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend and telling her what she did was cheating, whatever she says? Okay, I feel like this is ridiculous. And honestly, her reaction is more hurtful than the actual action. My relationship with my now ex-girlfriend has been fairly turbulent for the past, say, year and a half, together for 4, and during big arguments, she has a habit of ending the relationship. But this only ever lasts at most a few days. She does this often, and from what she said herself in the past, we both know that it's just anger and we aren't really broken up. Immature of her, but that's a different story. I recently found out that on one of these times, where, bear in mind, there was not a single day we weren't in contact, albeit arguing, she hooked up with someone else. When I found out, her reaction was to bluntly deny that she'd cheated. We weren't together, so she doesn't even feel like she did anything wrong. Obviously, I've dumped her, and she's saying that isn't fair because it wasn't cheating, so I have no reason to be angry. Am I freaking crazy here, or is that the biggest joke of an excuse imaginable? She said she's sorry because it hurt me, but is fully insisting that she didn't actually cheat, so it wasn't wrong and I'm being unfair to her. So, as far as I'm concerned, she absolutely did cheat. This was 1, at most 2 days of being broken up, with constant contact. Am I the a-hole for telling her that she is a cheater and I want nothing to do with her? Edit to add, we are not teenagers. We're both in our 30s, so the fake breakups and anger are immature enough, but I felt I should add that, as I'm aware, this sounds like something that belongs in a teenage relationship, which is bloody ridiculous. You're not crazy. You're just done being manipulated. These "we're broken up for a day" tantrums aren't real breakups. They're emotional blackmail. You both knew that. She knew that. So using one of those temporary breaks as a free pass to sleep with someone else? Yeah, that's cheating. If you break up with someone in a heated moment, continue texting them like you're still in a relationship, and then hook up with someone immediately, that's not moving on. That's betrayal wrapped in a technicality. And let's be real, saying "I didn't cheat, we were broken up," while also saying you have no right to be upset, is gaslighting. She's trying to invalidate your feelings to dodge accountability. You're not being unfair. You're protecting your peace and drawing a boundary with someone who clearly didn't respect the relationship. You're allowed to be hurt. You're allowed to call it what it was. And you're absolutely allowed to walk away. Good for you. Thank you. The disrespect I feel by her denying she did anything wrong honestly feels worse than the cheating. Like, damn, at least pretend to be sorry. Tell her whether she counts it as cheating or not. She broke up with you to sleep with someone else, and you don't want her back after that. Whatever technicality or mental gymnastics she wants to use still doesn't hide the fact that she left you just to sleep with another dude. That's enough reason to never trust her or want her back. So tell her you guys are broken up. For good this time. She already knows that. This is the first time I've been the one doing the breaking up, and I don't play with that nonsense. Block her and move on. She's wasted enough of your time. Already done. Funny thing is, for the amount of times she's broken up with me, this is the first time for me, but there definitely won't be a second.